on the season. He has had 4 games this year in which the San Francisco Giants bullpen has blown leads that he has left the ballgame with, but Verlander still looking to pick up that very first win in a Giants uniform. It's one of the big reasons he signed with Buster Posey's San Francisco Giants this offseason to chase 300 career wins, and he believes, as he told Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic earlier this week, that he's on the brink of putting it all together mechanically and really hitting his stride this season after spending a significant portion of the year on the injured list. Verlander is back. He looked good his last time out. He should have won his last time out in Chicago against the White Sox, but the Giants bullpen, again, couldn't hold a lead behind him, and so he goes this evening against the Athletics at Sutter Health Park with the opportunity to pick up his very first win of the season. So, as we get you set for Giants baseball on the radio this evening on this holiday weekend, let's talk a little bit about the week that was for the San Francisco Giants. It started in miserable fashion. It really started the last time Verlander took the ball for this San Francisco Giants ball club. He left on Sunday, June 29th in Chicago with the Giants ahead 2-1, and Ryan Walker completely coughed up that ball game. The Giants lineup did Verlander and this team no favors by struggling all afternoon against White Sox pitching. They end up losing that game 5-2, and that meant that they lost the series. They lost on Saturday 1-0 in just brutal fashion against Adrian Hauser and the Chicago White Sox, and so losing to a miserable White Sox team really put a very bad stamp on the week that was for the San Francisco Giants, as they were coming off of a sweep against the Miami Marlins, a portion of the schedule the Giants 100% should have dominated. Any team with serious visions of making an October run should have completed with relative ease. The Giants made it look very difficult. Their starting pitchers took a step back. The bullpen took a major step back, and the offense was just completely non-existent. The Giants lineup was just atrocious against the Marlins, the White Sox, and then at the beginning of the week against the Arizona Diamondbacks as well. They lost 4-2 on Monday evening in Arizona with Logan Webb on the mound. They were blown out on Tuesday night. Hayden Birdsong was awful in his start against the Diamondbacks. They lose 8-2, but they come back on Wednesday evening and show some resilience as Camilo Doval coughs up the lead the 9th inning with a blown save, but he's able to get through the 10th inning unscathed as the Giants pick up a 6-5 win. And then on Thursday, last night, Robbie Ray does exactly what this Giants team needed, and he really, in my opinion, solidified his case to make the National League All-Star team. Ray has been so good for the Giants this season. He turned in really one of the most important outings I think any starting pitcher has had for the San Francisco Giants this season, with a complete game, 3-hit performance against this Arizona Diamondbacks team. He gives up 2 earned runs, he walks 1, but he strikes out 7, and that was the key for the San Francisco Giants. Ray got a ton of swings and misses. He kept the pitch count down until a 24-pitch 9th inning, 69 strikes and 102 pitches on the evening for the big left-hander, who picked up win number 9 of the first half of this season. Lowers his ERA to 2.68 with that phenomenal outing last night in Arizona. And perhaps most importantly, he saved the Giants bullpen. They're in a stretch of playing 16 games in 16 days. They're going to Sacramento where the ball carries, where it's going to tax the bullpen, and he absolutely set this team up for potential success against the Athletics this weekend. So you can't say enough about what Robbie Ray did against his former ball club, the Arizona Diamondbacks. In fact, the last time he threw a complete game was 2017. Alex Pavlovich of NBC Sports Bay Area pointed this out. At the time, Jake Lamb was his third baseman, Paul Goldschmidt was his first baseman, and Gregor Blanco entered that game for the Arizona Diamondbacks as a pinch runner. He achieved it against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and 8 years later, coming off of Tommy John surgery in 2023, Ray was able to keep the pitch count down through the first 7-8 innings of that ball game, force Bob Melvin to go to him in the 9th inning, and really, he left no doubt. The Giants' offense gave him the lead that he very much needed to work with, and there was no pressure to go to Spencer Bivens or Eric Miller, who were warming up in the bullpen in the 9th inning. Robbie Ray cruised. He got the job done. It really looked completely in control until that 9th inning. So a very impressive performance from a pitcher who 100%, in my opinion, deserves to be on this National League All-Star roster. I think the Giants assume that Logan Webb, their ace, will be there. Webb will take the mound for the second to last time of the first half tomorrow night in Sacramento, his hometown, against this Athletics ball club. But Ray really solidifying his case with his second to last start of the first half. He'll pitch next week. I believe he's slated to go Wednesday in that series finale against the Philadelphia Phillies, so that would line Webb up to ultimately face the Dodgers to end the first half for the San Francisco Giants. So it's a good way to go out if you were the Giants, considering the week that they had that just started in brutal fashion, really the week before during the homestand against the Guardians, the Red Sox, and the Miami Marlins. Being swept out of Oracle Park by the Marlins was probably the single most disappointing series result the Giants have had, maybe in the last decade, if we're being completely honest. To lose in the fashion that they did to the Miami Marlins was inexcusable, and then to go on the road against a White Sox team that doesn't have visions of contending this year and won't have visions of contending in the American League Central for the next few seasons. That's how deep into the rebuild process this White Sox team is, and to lose 2 of 3 after winning the first game of that series 3-1, for the offense to completely disappear, to be shut out on Saturday, shut out on Sunday, it's just beyond comprehension for this Giants ball club that very much, after trading for Rafael Devers, believed that it wouldn't just be competing for a National League wildcard spot, that it would be competing for a division. The Giants, at the time of the Rafael Devers trade, were a game out of first place when that trade was executed, and now entering tonight's ball game against this A's team, they are 9 games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL West race. Fortunately for San Francisco, they entered tonight tied for that third wildcard spot in the National League with the San Diego Padres, who've also struggled of late, 5-5 in their last 10 ball games. They lost on Thursday as well. So 46-40 are the Padres, 47-41 are the Giants heading into play this evening. The two teams ahead of them in the NL wildcard race, the New York Mets, who built up a 3-game lead, 50-38, 12 games over 500, and the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 48-39. The Brewers playing out of their minds really over the last 2 months. They have lost 2 in a row, though, so they've lost a little bit of ground. St. Louis Cardinals are also in this National League wildcard race with an identical record to the San Francisco Giants, entering play this evening at 47-41. Cincinnati Reds right behind them at 45-42. And then you're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks, a game under 500 after taking the first 2 games of that 4-game set from the Giants at Chase Field this week, but losing the final 2 games to the Giants to give San Francisco some momentum headed into this showdown in Sacramento against the A's. And after about the Diamondbacks, you can probably rule out the Marlins, the Braves, the Pirates, the Nationals, and the Rockies. There's 10 teams vying for 6 playoff spots in the National League race right now. The Dodgers have pretty well got the National League West wrapped up. The Cubs facing a challenge from the Brewers in the NL Central, but I do believe that the Cubs will pull away. They look to be adding at the trade deadline, and I'm not sure that the Brewers will be as aggressive at the trade deadline. And then the Phillies at 51-36 have overtaken the Mets in the NL East. The Phillies look really good. The Giants will get a look at them at a very difficult homestand coming up to end the first half of the season. It's Philadelphia coming to San Francisco Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to wrap up this 16-game in 16-day stretch. Then the Giants are off on Thursday before playing host to the Los Angeles Dodgers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in what should be a huge showdown at Oracle Park. Dodgers now 24 games over 500. They're 9-1 in their last 10 ball games. They've won 4 in a row entering play today, and man, the Dodgers have taken care of business. One thing that I will say, the Dodgers are 20-19 against teams that are above 500 this season. The Giants 22-19, so they're actually even better against the best teams in baseball. The challenge for the San Francisco Giants is that they've been terrible, really, in my opinion, against some of the worst teams in baseball, losing 3 in a row to the Miami Marlins, losing 2 of 3 to the Chicago White Sox, being swept in Minnesota earlier this year by a Twins team that's 41-46. There are just some inexcusable results. I mean, losing 2 of 3 to Cleveland Guardians at home. The Guardians are 5 games under 500 at 40-45, losing 2 of 3 to the Kansas City Royals at Oracle Park. The Royals are 41-47. The Giants were abysmal against the National League Central this year, being swept by the Detroit Tigers, an understandable result given how good the Tigers have been, but just getting blown out of the water in inexcusable fashion by the Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Guardians, the Kansas City Royals, and perhaps in most galling fashion, the Chicago White Sox last weekend at the rate. The White Sox 28-59. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but 2 of those wins coming against the San Francisco Giants. So nothing is given to Bob Melvin's ball club, which is up against his former team, the A's, this weekend in Sacramento. The A's 36-53. They've been abysmal at home. A Major League worst 15-27, but you use home in air quotes because is Sutter Health Park really a home stadium, a home ballpark for the Athletics, a team that's in transition? John Fisher trying to get them out to Las Vegas. We will touch more on that throughout tonight's pregame show. But really, the A's have been terrible at home. The Giants swept them at Oracle Park this season. So, in theory, with the Giants winning their last 2 ball games, getting back on track, this is a series the Giants should win. They should win going away, and they can really very much get themselves back into the mix in the NL wildcard race, which they haven't dropped out of altogether, but they've certainly led to questions about their overall capabilities, questions about the state of this squad heading into the month of July, and now with back-to-back wins, they've answered a few of those against a tough team in the Arizona Diamondbacks, who I know are under 500, but do pose some threats, and obviously, as we saw in games 1 and 2 of that 4-game set at Chase Field, can take advantage of mistakes. Like Hayden Birdsong threw 10 straight balls, and then the first strike that he put in the zone, Diamondbacks hitter crushed for a 3-run homer. So, the Giants must take care of business in Sacramento this weekend against the Athletics. They've got a huge task ahead of them and really a big opportunity for the Giants to get this thing back on track before a critical homestand to end the first half against the NL East leading Phillies and the NL West leading Los Angeles Dodgers. A ton more division showdowns set up this season for the San Francisco Giants, but you've got to take care of business against the worst teams on your schedule. The Giants failed to do so against the Miami Marlins. They failed to do so against the Chicago White Sox, and they've got yet another golden opportunity against this Athletics ball club that, as I mentioned, 15-27 at home this season at Center Health Park, 15-42 against teams that are above 500. It's a lineup that can beat you, but it is a pitching staff that these Giants hitters must take advantage of. J.P. Sears on the hill for the Athletics this evening. His ERA up over 5 this season, and now the Giants must do what they can to get their lineup back on track. So we will talk more Giants A's. We will focus more in on the future of this A's franchise and John Fisher's move to Sacramento on the other side. Very much looking forward to this afternoon's pregame show. It's a team effort here on Giants Warm-Up. My buddy Bill Laskey will be in with the second hour of our pregame show. He'll take you through the diamond notes and in the booth in Sacramento at Center Health Ballpark. He will do all the bells and whistles of our Giants pregame show. As it's a holiday weekend here on KNBR, so we've got 3 Giants warm-ups, 3 extra innings with Bill Laskey this weekend, and it should be a really, really fun weekend of baseball if only the Giants can stay on track and make sure they build upon the momentum they gave themselves with back-to-back wins in the desert, getting back on track at Chase Field. So I am Kerry Crowley. The show is Giants Warm-Up. It is a pleasure to be with you. Stay safe out on the roads here on 4th of July. You're listening to KNBR 104.5, 680, the sports leader. Back here on Giants Warm Up, Kerry Crowley helping get you set for Giants baseball on the radio. July 4th, a day that, you pretty much become accustomed to the Giants playing a day game on these holidays. Instead, there'll be the evening matchup tonight in Sacramento against the Athletics. Hanging out with you after the Giants have won back-to-back ball games to get back on track, tied for third place, entering the afternoon and early evening portion of our pregame show. Tied for third place in the NL wildcard chase. There's really 10 viable teams, as we touched on in our opening segment. The Giants, one of those teams right now, and they are tied for sixth in terms of their record in the National League. Behind, of course, the NL West leading Dodgers. They're 9 games back in the division, but they are even with the San Diego Padres, who came in today with a 46-40 record. The Giants 47-41, and they will close out this first half with series against the A's that begin tonight, the Phillies that takes place Monday through Wednesday at Oracle Park, and then, of course, the Dodgers come into town for their first games at Oracle Park this season next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Giants have drawn such great crowds this year at Oracle Park, and I fully anticipate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be popping at Oracle. Anticipate 40,000 plus at each of those ball games, and it should be a really great atmosphere. And I must say, Dodgers fans have taken over Oracle Park in recent years. There's been a ton of blue in the stands. They travel extraordinarily well. That's what happens when you spend $1 billion in free agents in the offseason and drum up that kind of excitement. But I do expect that Giants fans will reclaim their territory out at Oracle next weekend. I think there's a lot of excitement around this Giants ball club. Of course, the last 2 weeks notwithstanding, I think that people feel energized by Buster Posey and company. So mid-July should be an outstanding atmosphere at Oracle Park and really give you kind of that throwback to the playoff days at Oracle. Obviously, during the playoffs, you see a lot more orange and black than you ever will, with the Dodgers in town this weekend. But I think it should be really fun, and I think that it'll be a bit of a throwback to when the rivalry was really at full force. We haven't quite seen that the last few seasons. The last time we did was 2021, when there were still some pandemic-era restrictions in and around the stadium, and that's not the case here in 2025. So very much looking forward to that atmosphere. And you kind of juxtapose it with this weekend at Sutter Health Park when the Giants take on the Athletics. And I do expect they'll sell out all 3 games. The A's have only sold out 4 of their home dates thus far this season. But I do think that because there are so many Giants fans in the Sacramento area, because there's always more interest when these two clubs meet, they'll sell out the 14,000 seats in Sacramento at Sutter Health Park. But it is such a shame that these two clubs are relegated to playing in a minor league stadium. And it's such a shame, and it bears repeating over and over again what John Fisher has done to the A's as a franchise. One of the gold standards across Major League Baseball in the 70s and 80s, all of the titles that the A's won, all of the success that franchise had out at the Coliseum, and really, there were parts of the 2000s, even as late as 2019 with Bob Melvin managing the club and Matt Chapman, Matt Olson anchoring the club. There was potential, there were possibilities, there was excitement and genuine excitement around what the A's could be in Oakland. I have vivid memories of covering the 2019 All-Star game for the 2019 American League wildcard game between the A's and the Rays out at the Coliseum, and Sean Manaea going for Oakland at the time, and the Rays stepping up with Yandy Diaz hitting 2 early home runs. The atmosphere was incredible. There were 50,000 plus people in the ballpark that night watching an A's team that had a dream summer. And no, it didn't win the AL West. That was back when the Astros were at their peak. But man, they were competitive, they were fun, and you could envision a long-term future. If they had an owner committed to signing their stars, where they would be good for a long time to come. Just think about it. I mean, if you'd kept Matt Chapman and Matt Olson and Sean Murphy and Marcus Semien around, and I know it's not realistic to think that even a big market team would find a way to keep all of those players, Sean Manaea, around. But if you had kept that core and added guys like a Brent Rooker, like a Lawrence Butler, like a Tyler Soderstrom, who are, of course, a part of this current A's roster. Think about how special that could have been if the A's were building a ballpark in Oakland, either on the Coliseum site, the Laney College site, a waterfront ballpark. There were so many different possibilities for the A's and their longtime fans in and around Oakland, in and around the Bay Area, and really throughout Northern California. You'll see a lot of Sacramento fans who supported the A's. Daniel Johnson, who grew up in Vallejo, he was an A's fan growing up. Logan Webb, growing up in Rockland, he was an A's fan. These Giants players were drawn to going to games out of the Coliseum. And as a young reporter on the beat, covering the San Francisco Giants and traveling oftentimes to Oakland to cover the interleague series between these teams, then, of course, pitching in late season and playoff coverage for the Bay Area News Group, San Jose Mercury News, back when I was a writer at that outlet. It was so fun to capture the atmosphere because it was different. It was distinct than what you would see at 29 other major league stadiums, that so many of which felt pretty corporate. They felt pretty, in many ways, like, you know, you go to Yankee Stadium, you go to Wrigley Field, Petco Park, and even Oracle Park. In many ways, they feel a little bit corporate with all the sponsorships, all of the different sections that you can go to that are geared toward generating money. And then you look at the Coliseum on a packed night, at the end of a grand season for the Oakland A's, and you would see true diehard baseball fans. You would see a stadium where, because they had 50,000 seats and because of the nature of the stadium, how old it was, people weren't priced out. It wasn't attracting the kind of venture capital crowd that goes out to watch a Warriors game at Chase Center. It was true diehard baseball fans going out on weeknights and supporting the team that they'd been fans of throughout their childhood, throughout their lives. And so it does bring me great pain to know that Oakland has lost yet another team. The Warriors up and left for San Francisco. The Raiders up and left for Las Vegas. And now the A's are following and going to play in Las Vegas, and I'm not sure that anyone really wants this. Obviously, the folks in Oakland don't want it, but the folks in Clark County, the folks in Las Vegas really want Major League Baseball right now. They've got an NHL team that they support extremely well with the Golden Knights. They've got a great WNBA team, albeit having a rough year. The Aces, blown out by 27 points at home by the Valkyries earlier this year. And they've got an NFL team in the Raiders, who I don't think they've quite embraced as much, but you're always going to sell tickets to NFL games in Las Vegas. There's only, 8 to 10 home dates a year, including the preseason. You are always going to be able to fill up a stadium there. But a baseball stadium in Las Vegas, where it's a transient town, people coming in and out, a vacationer town, a lot of games in the summer, the heat in Las Vegas, overwhelming, as we all know. How much are you going to capitalize on local interest in Major League Baseball in a city like Las Vegas? And beyond that, how does Major League Baseball let this happen with a franchise ripped out of Oakland when John Fisher just simply didn't pursue the options available to him, was never serious about building in Oakland the way that he was about getting a deal done in Las Vegas? And so what has happened here is you've got a team that is in transition. There was the groundbreaking ceremony, if you want to call it that, a ceremony last week indoors, or a couple of weeks ago indoors in Vegas. But I think there's still widespread skepticism as to whether or not Fisher can actually get this stadium over the finish line. And then, what will it look like if and when he does? Is Las Vegas really a baseball town? Is it worth uprooting a franchise with decades of proud history that proved that when you give this fan base a winning product, when you give Oakland and the region in the East Bay a winning product, when you invest in them, they will show up? Is it really worth uprooting all of that to go to Las Vegas and to spend a 3-year stint in Sacramento? I can't possibly imagine what the numbers suggest, why Major League Baseball is so adamant, Rob Manfred so adamant about supporting John Fisher in this endeavor that just seems so ill-fated to me. So I don't know. I see what the A's are trying. I see what John Fisher is attempting. And I'm not the first person to say on these airwaves, on any airwaves, that I don't like any of it. I think that A's fans were robbed. I think that the tradition, the history of the Oakland A's should have been preserved. I think that what happened is an abomination, and what it leads to is a series between these longtime Bay Area rivals, a series that was so full of energy when the Giants and A's would meet at Oracle Park and the Coliseum, and a Bay Bridge series that's turned into the I-80 series, where the Giants play host to the A's at China Basin, and the A's play host to the Giants in West Sacramento with fans sitting on a berm like a spring training stadium. It just doesn't sit right with the longtime baseball purist in me. And look, I am happy for the people of Sacramento who've proven that they can support the River Cats back when they were the A's AAA affiliate. Now that they're the San Francisco Giants AAA affiliate, they obviously are huge Kings fans. Love the people of Sacramento. Got a number of friends from there as well who are excited about Major League Baseball in the area right now. But the A's are averaging fewer than 10,000 fans per game. And people in Sacramento, John Shea, the San Francisco Standard, wrote a great story this morning about why people have been reluctant to embrace the franchise coming through there, because it is just a temporary stopover. It is just a stepping stone on a path to something else that the A's are pursuing. So could Sacramento eventually be a hub for Major League Baseball? Maybe, but it's not a host city right now. It's a AAA city right now, and unfortunately, the Giants and the A's have been relegated to playing a series that we always anticipated. The Bay Area baseball fans, that Northern California baseball fans have always treasured in a minor league ballpark. And it's just a shame that it has to happen this way, and that Rob Manfred, the commissioner, supported John Fisher's plans for all of this and continues to support, and that the other Major League Baseball owners, even the San Francisco Giants, played a leading role in the A's getting this opportunity to move their franchise to Las Vegas. I think so much could have been done differently, and if they had an ownership group that was investing in the product on the field, think of how great the A's could have been in recent years. Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, Marcus Simeon, Sean Manaea. It bears repeating. The names are worth repeating because the core was so good, and the A's have routinely been forced to give up on great cores in pursuit of something else. One of the Major League ownership groups that doesn't care about winning. And that, to me, is perhaps the biggest affront. Because regardless of where they're playing, Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas, we know that this ownership group doesn't care about putting a great product on the field, because they've had tremendous opportunities to do so. They've brought more than enough players through their farm system. The Giants would kill to have drafted as well as the A's did over the last decade. And instead, those opportunities have been squandered. The chances to build something successful and sustainable, and something that the community would want to rally around in terms of an on-field product, been squashed. And all for what? Also, a billionaire can take his team elsewhere. It's not the way sports should be operating. It's not the way Major League Baseball owners should be supporting another owner. This should be a lesson. And I'm proud of the A's fans who've stood up and said, no, I won't go to those games. I won't support what's happened with my former team, because I don't know that if the Giants or another team were in a similar situation, the Giants fans would have been as adamant. But then again, that's all a hypothetical anyway. What we know is that something brilliant, these Bay Bridge Series matchups, have been lost. And tonight, the Giants and the A's take on one another in West Sacramento. I am Kerry Crowley. The show is Giants Warm Up. We've got a good one for you this afternoon and early evening. Bill Laskey will take over here shortly, but on the other side, a conversation with my friend Connor Grossman. He writes the Giants Postcards Substack. You can get the newsletter in your email inbox every single day after the Giants play. Get updates on what transpired in the last San Francisco Giants ball game, and some good ones the last few days after some really, really rough stretches of games for the San Francisco Giants. He will join me and break down Bob Melvin's option being exercised for the 2026 season, what we think of the manager's body of work to date. Connor and I caught up earlier this week, so if the conversation sounds a little dated, it's about 48 hours old, but very much looking forward to having Connor on the show. You're listening to KNBR 104.5, 680, the sports leader. baseball on the radio. First pitch coming your way, 7:05 p.m. Pacific time from Sutter Health Park this evening. The first Giants-A's showdown to be played in a minor league ballpark. Justin Verlander on the hill for San Francisco. J.P. Sears taking the ball for the Athletics. And what a week it was for the San Francisco Giants. It started off in terrible fashion. Giants lose in Chicago on Sunday against the White Sox to seal a series defeat against one of the worst teams in baseball. They go down to Arizona, and their poor play continues. Logan Webb pitches well on Monday evening, but to no avail for the San Francisco Giants. They lose that one. Hayden Birdsong gets roughed up on Tuesday against the Giants, so at the best they could come out with a series split against a Diamondbacks team that had also been struggling entering that series with poor performances against both the Marlins and the White Sox. Their play kind of mirrored each other, and the Diamondbacks took advantage of the Giants at the beginning of that series. But something happened on Tuesday that was particularly interesting, and that was Bob Melvin having his option exercised for the 2026 season. Melvin had been managing on, I would say, an expiring contract, even though the Giants and Melvin both knew that there was the option available for the 2026 season. There had been no rumors, no speculation about whether or not it was going to be picked up. And with the Giants playing really their worst ball of the season amid their toughest and roughest stretch, Buster Posey comes down to Arizona. He takes the temperature of the clubhouse. He meets with Melvin. He meets with coaches, and he expresses a ton of faith in the Giants manager by electing to pick up that option for the 2026 season. Remember, Posey, the president of baseball operations, did not hire Bob Melvin. He, of course, was familiar with Melvin due to their longtime matchups when Melvin was the manager of the Oakland Athletics, and Posey, of course, was the catcher of the San Francisco Giants. And then, of course, Melvin goes to San Diego when Posey's owning the San Francisco Giants, or at least joins the ownership group. And Posey's part of the organization still when Melvin is hired by Farhan Zaidi, but he was not the hand-picked guy. And so it would have been understandable if the Giants had said, hey, we want to move on after this season. We see the current state of play. We just feel like Buster needs his own guy. Or Buster says, hey, I appreciate what you've done for this franchise, but I just want to move forward with my guy. Instead, earlier this week, Posey picks up the option, and he gives his full faith, a full-throated vote of confidence in the man currently in charge of the San Francisco Giants. And the hope was that it would galvanize the Giants. They lose on Tuesday as Birdsong and the Giants get blown out, but they win the final two games of the series. They win on Wednesday in dramatic fashion, 6-5 in 10 innings. And then they play their most complete game, really in the last several weeks, with Robbie Ray throwing a complete game, giving up 2 runs. The Giants took it 7-2 over the Arizona Diamondbacks to finally secure that series split on Thursday evening. So they're back in action tonight. And here to help me break down the decision that the Giants made, a rather puzzling timing of the decision to exercise Melvin's option, is my good friend Connor Grossman. We tape the Giants Postcards podcast. He writes the Giants Postcards newsletter that you can get in your email inbox every day. Go to Giants Postcards on Substack. Connor, let's talk about this Bob Melvin, not extension, but the decision to exercise this option.
I really did a quadruple take on my phone. I was like, are they really doing this? And my initial reaction was Buster is leaning in. He is flying not close to the sun, but straight into it. He is doubling down, and he has a message for everyone, maybe like myself, who might be clamoring for a change, whether it's a new manager, a new hitting coach, or even a new bat boy. Shut the F up. That's not what he actually said. What he actually said, I'll read the quotes here, Kerry, before I get your thoughts, is, quote, sometimes when you're going through a rough patch, there's a tendency to want to point the finger at coaches. And ultimately, I believe we have great players. And I still believe in that group of players. But it boils down to them needing to play better baseball. Okay? Buster also said, quote, if anybody deserves any blame from the top, it should be on me. It shouldn't be on the manager or coaching staff. I'm the one who sets the roster. I felt like with all those things considered, this was a good time for me to show my belief in Bob and the coaching staff. Okay. I am here for accountability. Buster is saying, look at the players, look at me, and nobody in between. Okay, fine. If that's the stance he wants to take, that's great. I cannot fully just relinquish the thought that the coaches might have a bigger part than Buster's letting on in this little tailspin. But, Kerry, what are your thoughts on maybe the most ill-timed midseason manager announcement that I can remember?
I think there are two ways to look at Bob Melvin as a major league manager. And I think that this was true entering last year. I think this was true when Farhan Zaidi hired him.
Yeah.
I think that this is true of Bob Melvin and who he is, who he's been as a major league manager. He is probably in the 70th to 85th percentile of managers across the sport at any given time. And it's been that way probably since he took over the Oakland A's back 15 years ago. So he's gone from Seattle to Arizona to Oakland to San Diego to the San Francisco Giants. And there is a reason he's done that. And it's because he is a pretty good manager. Should that be enough for you to keep your job with the San Francisco Giants when all of the resources have been invested, when Rafael Devers has been traded for, when the team is in a tailspin? I think Buster Posey very much probably looks at the situation and says, well, if I can't have Bruce Bochy, Bob Melvin is probably the guy in the sport right now who I would want above anyone else. You look out at 29 other managers, and I think Buster will take Bob Melvin any other day. And I think that when the time comes for Buster to inevitably pick another manager, and I still wouldn't rule out the end of this season.
It's true. It's not a guarantee he's coming back next year, but the writing appears on the wall that he is.
But when the time comes, I think he will go with experience over the new name coming up, like a Stephen Vogt, like a Will Venable, like all these first-time managers who were recently out of the game. I think Buster values that. Now, should having someone in the 70th to 85th percentile of managers prevent you from seeking the very best manager who might be out there, who is in theory a good manager, but has no track record and could be in the 0 percentile of good managers? I wouldn't put all my eggs in the Bob Melvin basket, but I understand the thought process from Buster when you consider what he values. I view it very differently. I'm critical of Bob Melvin. I don't think he's done a very good job with the bullpen this season. I don't think his coaching staff has gotten the most out of these players, but you and I disagree on how much value there is in a major league coaching staff. I just don't think that riding with Bob Melvin is the best possible choice for the San Francisco Giants moving forward. With that being said, could they, go hire someone else and absolutely blow it? Of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like recency bias. It's so easy for me to sit here and be like, Melvin stinks. They should be looking for a new manager. Like, obviously, if you're going to take the sample size of the last 2 weeks, Melvin might be the worst manager ever. Obviously, we know he is not. But I couldn't help but just be appalled at the timing of this. Like, why is this happening? Like, I was really just beside myself, as I'm sure most people were. Like, really, Buster? You have such a magical connection with Bob that now you're just going to do this thing that seems so unnecessary. Like, why are we talking about next year? Like, bro, we're trying to make it to the All-Star break with a winning record and a viable shot at the playoffs. Like, what's 2026? So as I was in the middle of being confused and complaining out into the abyss, one of my friends who has covered baseball before, we'll call him a source familiar with the inner workings of the game, said that some manager contracts, maybe all of them, have deadlines to pick up the option for the following
That's
season,
interesting.
which I didn't know about. And yesterday just so happened to be July 1st.
God, it would be amazing if this friend was Sam Blum.
It was not. I will say it was not Sam Blum. So it'll be everyone else for you to cycle through who's ever covered Major League Baseball. But they were saying the manager they covered would talk with reporters off the record about, oh, my deadline is so-and-so. And I don't really know what the benefit of the deadline is. I was going back and forth. I was like, is it so the manager can prepare to pack their bags and look for a new job? I guess. But the deadline thing was new information to me. We don't actually know if it applies to Bob Melvin. But again, July 1st is when it gets picked up. The Giants are in their worst stretch of the season. And anybody with half a brain in the front office knows that the optics are going to look absolutely horrible. And the reaction will be nuclear if we're talking about continuity into next year, as this year's team is in their worst slide of the season.
I looked at it. Now, albeit this is new information to me, and this may cause me to change my mind when I step back and think about it, but I looked at it as Buster was out of other levers to pull, and this is something that he viewed as an idea that could galvanize the clubhouse and something that he was relatively comfortable with. And here's why. Early June, the lever to pull, Dom Smith. for Lamont Wade Jr. That
Yeah.
was a very clear upgrade, needed to happen. It came amid a flurry of like 6 roster moves, but ultimately the Giants swapped out Lamont Wade Jr., brought in Dominic Smith, and that was a good move. The next lever, Rafael Devers. That's a huge lever to pull.
That's a big lever.
It's the biggest lever that he will pull.
It's a $250 million lever.
Exactly. And with the Giants in a tailspin and Matt Chapman not coming back from the injured list this week, and a number of other guys, Casey Schmidt not available, and seemingly 10 different guys struggling who you have to rely on. Yeah. What else can you do to show your confidence in this team? It's not going to be a roster shakeup. It's not like Luciano is going to arrive in the clubhouse in Arizona and guys are going to get fired up and he's going to go lead this team to a 10-game win streak. That's not going to happen. So it is a lever to pull. And in my opinion, it's a very low risk lever because it doesn't mean that Bob Melvin's managing the Giants in 2026.
Yeah.
Like every manager who's ever fired is fired with a year left on their contract, at least a year left on their contract. This does not marry the Giants to Bob Melvin in any way, shape, or form. Now, will it cost Greg Johnson and Buster Posey money if things don't work out? Yes. But in the grand scheme of things, what's it going to cost them? The equivalent of a Rule 5 draft pick? Like, these are decisions that are made in Major League Baseball all the time that no one bats an eye at. So in no way, shape, or form do I think, oh, well, there it is. Bob Melvin's managing the Giants in 2026. Because if this team finishes with 75 wins, he's not coming back.
You know what? I'm running with the deadline theory because I don't think this is not a lever. This is just not a lever that needs to be pulled. Like, Posey could say the exact same quotes he shared, almost verbatim, without needing to do some performative exercising of a contract option. Like, it's still, as we sit here today, feels so unnecessary and so forward-looking for a team that is spinning its tires and going nowhere fast that it just had to be the deadline. It was July 1st. This is the worst possible time to do this. I can't recall another Major League team, granted I don't follow the other ones quite as closely, saying their manager is coming back on July 1st as the team is tanking.
This is why they called you Connor Single Source Grossman during your journalism career.
Yeah, that's right. I don't need 3. I don't even need 2. I am going with one theory based on another manager's situation.
There have been articles written on less, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, but I'll just say, if it's not the deadline, then this is just ridiculous. It's dumb. It's an unnecessary lever, and maybe it's Posey showing his inexperience, like thinking that. Now,
I do think that's entirely possible. I do think the inexperience factor could be a huge play here, and I wonder if he is in such a hurry to make decisions in year one and to put his imprint on this baseball club that things are just happening like ahead of schedule. Like, was it the best possible move to sign Willy Adames last offseason, or was it just the best available move to the San Francisco Giants? Best available move. Best possible move? If you're taking a long-term view of the organization, probably not for a shortstop who had declining numbers at the position defensively. Is it the best possible move to bring Bob Melvin back? No, but what moves were available to him on July 1st to galvanize the club? Not much.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Eckler's not coming out to play second base.
Not yet. Not this week, at least. It's an interesting perspective. I hadn't really given it much consideration that a lot of these Posey decisions seem to lack foresight or long-term vision. Whereas I felt like everything Farhan did, for better or worse, felt so methodical, so part of a 5-year plan or whatever runway he thought he had. And Posey is just shooting from the hip like a year from now, to quote Kyle Shanahan, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive. We don't know who's going to be here. That's what a lot of these decisions feel like, to your point. I'm making the best decision with what I have available to me right now. Whereas I feel like most presidents of Major League ball clubs are operating with 2 or 3 or multiple years ahead in mind. And it really doesn't seem like Posey's doing that.
I will also say this, while it is incredibly frustrating for Giants fans to experience the recent collapse and free fall of this team, I think this is way more fun. And I think if you put the average person in the job of president of baseball operations, think about the flurry of moves that would take place. Think about the lack of foresight. I think I was almost expecting Buster to be a little bit more methodical. I wasn't expecting these type of big picture moves. I thought he would take a year, just take in the franchise, get some good draft picks and see what would go on from there.
Do laps around the ballpark, give high fives, smell the garlic fries.
100% that. He has not done that at all. He's been Mr. I have no patience for losing. I have no patience for mediocrity. And quite frankly, I think that's what Giants fans have been begging for years. I think the methodical nature of Farhan Zaidi grew so nails on a chalkboard tiresome for this fan base that seeing someone just hey, we're going to do this. We're going to pick up Bob Melvin's option. Like we're going to go trade for Raffy Devers. Who cares? 8 years from now, I don't care if I have 60 H's on this club. I don't care if Wilmer Flores is still around. Like we're doing this.
Like a 14-year-old at the sticks of their MLB The Show franchise.
Exactly.
I'm going to sign Juan Soto for 18 years. Because
there's a refreshing component to that because people don't last in these jobs like Brian Sabian and Brian Cashman have. You get 5 years max. Like Farhan got 6, and part of that was due to COVID. Like you don't get a long time to make these moves. So to have an 8 to 10 year plan is just silly. And that's what I always despise about people who come into these jobs and have an 8 to 10 year plan. It's like, no, none of us know what we're going to be doing 10 years from now. So that is where we will end our segment. On the other side, I'm going to pass things off to my good friend Bill Laskey, who's in for the remainder of Giants Warm-Up. You'll also be able to catch Bill on the Giants postgame show tonight with extra innings. He's got 3 extra inning shows this week, and I'm sure the phone lines will be blowing up at 415-808-KNBR. Always appreciate Bill helping step in and appreciate, especially on this holiday weekend, Bill picking up some extra slack. So that'll do it for myself, Kerry Crowley. Appreciate everyone who tuned in to the beginning portion of Giants Warm-Up. Bill's got you the rest of the way. He'll take you through the Giants pregame show as well. First pitch coming your way at 7:05 p.m. Pacific time. Appreciate my guest, Connor Grossman, stopping by. Bill, of course, taking you from here. You're listening to KNBR 104.5, 680, the sports leader.
Today to get you ready for the July 4th game starting at 7:05 at Sutter Health Park. My name's Bill Laskey. And a lot of things happen on this road trip. The Giants now are finishing up a 10-day road trip. They finished 7 games. They're 3-4. They won the first game in Chicago on Friday. They dropped the next 4. In the last 2 games, they withered through and had 2 wins. When you look at what the Giants have done, the first 5 games, they scored 9 runs. That was it. 5 games, 9 runs. The last 2 games, they scored 13 runs and have 22 hits. Of course, yesterday was just a bolt they needed with the offense by getting 2 runs in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the 7th, and adding 1 in the top of the 9th. And, of course, the great outing by Robbie Ray going 9 innings, his second complete game in his career. The first one was when he pitched for the Arizona Diamondbacks against the Pirates in 2017. He had all pitches going yesterday. He was on fire. 39 fastballs, 38 sliders, 17 knuckle curveballs, 8 changeups. Everything did well for him yesterday. And a pitch count. This is something I said last night on Sports Phone KNBR postgame show. The pitch count per inning. Very, very effective. 7, 9, 11, 13, 7, 10, 10, 11, and then 24 to end it, and then 9th. But when you do that, you throw a lot of strikes. When you do that, you get a lot of outs, and you get the opposing team swinging. And that's exactly what he did yesterday against the Arizona Diamondbacks to up his record to 9-3 with a 2.68 earned run average. When you go in his numbers a little deeper, 107 and a third innings, 78 hits. He's only given up 32 runs, 39 walks, and that number has really come down ever since the beginning of the year, and 117 strikeouts. On his way, I believe, to be a National League All-Star along with Logan Webb. We'll find out Sunday when they name the rest of the rosters and the pitching staffs, but both these guys deserve it. They've been stellar the whole first half going into the All-Star break. But today, the Giants now are facing the Athletics. They took 3 games from them earlier in the year in the month of May, where they won 3 games, won 9-1. If you remember the 1-0 game in 10 innings, that was a great game. Then finished it out with a 3-2 win. So now it's time to do it a little better. Now, when you start looking at what the A's, as they say, the Athletics have done with the Giants in the international, or I should say international, it should be interleague play. The A's are winning 76 wins to 75 to the Giants, and that's pretty cool when you start thinking about how even these series have been. Of course, back in the day when the Oakland A's were at the Coliseum and the Giants were at Pac Bell and all the different names, SBC and now Oracle. And even going back, I mean, even back in my day when we played them at Candlestick Park in spring training games, it's a rivalry. There's no question. Northern California fans love both the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants, but now they're called the Athletics, so we'll call them that as we move into the 2025 season facing them. Today, it's going to be a battle. We're going to see if Justin Verlander can win his first game in the orange and black. He had a great outing against Chicago. In Chicago, where he went 6 innings, 5 hits, only 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, left the game winning. Eric Miller and Mr. Walker kind of blew that one for him. But that was a game that I really felt that they could have won, and they did, but they didn't. Those are the things that happen in Justin Verlander's games. He's been pitching very good. Solid numbers, not great, but still he should have a win by now. 67 and 2/3 innings, 69 hits, 32 earned runs, 25 walks, 55 strikeouts. That's in 13 starts, a 4.2 earned run average. The Giants got to figure out the lefty, J.P. Sears. The Giants are struggling 8-14 against left-handed pitchers. Now, they beat him up pretty good. He got a loss in May. He only went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, a home run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. He's been pitching pretty good for the Athletics recently. He beat the Yankees. He went 5 2/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He got the win against the Yankees. No decision against Cleveland, where he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. So a good game, good matchup. We're going to finally see the Giants play at Sutter Health Park. And you start thinking about both these rosters. Of course, the Athletics have been playing their home games there. You start looking at what the Giants are doing. Most of these players have gone through Sacramento when it used to be Raleigh Field. Now it's Sutter Health Park. You can almost go right down the lineup. Elliot Ramos, Wilmer Flores, Luis Matos, Tyler Fitzgerald, Patrick Bailey, and the new player Sergio Alcantara, who just signed recently with the Giants. He's in the Giants lineup today. They've all went there, and you start looking at the bullpen from Tyler Rogers to Miller. Even Duvall had opportunities. So it's coming home to play in Sacramento. The one name, of course, Logan Webb. He's going to get to start tomorrow. Of course, he has a residence in Sacramento. That ballpark's going to be filled with a lot of his ex-high school teammates in football and baseball. And he's looking forward to it. He said that earlier this week, saying it's going to be fun, it's going to be nervous, but at the same time, it'll be a good time. All right, we're going to come back with the lineups, talk more about this game. I sat down with Johnny Doskow. He's going to talk with me later in the show today. Johnny, of course, he and I did Sacramento River Cats on television for 3 years. We were doing them every other Saturday. Became a good friend of mine. Now he's doing full-time play-by-play on radio for the Athletics. So I'm going to join with him in about 20 minutes or so and talk to him a little bit about the Athletics in this 3-game series. We'll take a quick break. And if you're traveling on I-80 going to the game and you want to give me a call, 415-808-KNBR. Phone lines are open. We can talk about what you're looking for going up to Sutter Health Park. And always, be safe today. Today, of course, is the 4th of July. Have fun, get that barbecue rolling, and let's watch some Giants baseball starting here on KNBR at 7:05. We'll be right back with more right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader. for first pitch at 7:05. Justin Verlander takes the hill for the San Francisco Giants against J.P. Sears, a left-hander for the Athletics. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Let's go to the Athletics first, the home team, managed by Mark Kotze. The right fielder, Lawrence Butler, hits first. He's got 14 stolen bases on the year, hitting .252, 11 home runs, 34 RBIs. Batting second is the American League starting shortstop. That's a great one right there. The rookie, Jacob Wilson, played shortstop, hitting .339, has 9 home runs and 40 RBIs. The 23-year-old got voted in as the American League starting shortstop. Very cool for the Athletics. Batting third, the designated hitter, Brent Rooker. He's hitting .270 with 18 home runs and 46 RBIs. Batting fourth, Nick Kurtz. He was the American League Rookie of the Month for the American League. He's batting .241. He's going to be playing first base. 12 home runs, 32 RBIs for Nick Kurtz. Shea Langolier is now playing catcher. He came back over the Tampa Bay series. He was on the IL. He's got 12 home runs, 31 RBIs, hitting .242. Playing left field, Tyler Soderstrom. He's got 14 home runs, 48 RBIs, hitting .252. Batting seventh, playing third base, Max Muncy. 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, hitting .213. And just got called up from Las Vegas, Zach Geloff. He's going to be playing second base, his first game back in the big leagues. Batting ninth, the athleticism of the center fielder, Denzel Clark. Boy, he can run him down. Some of the great plays he's made in center field at Sutter Health and also at a couple other ballparks where he down in Anaheim went over the fence and caught one. He's going to be playing center field, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, batting .189. So that's Butler, Wilson, Rooker, Kurtz, Langolier, Soderstrom, Muncy, Geloff, and Clark. That's the lineup that the Athletics are throwing out there. Bob Melvin put his lineup up, and it's starting off with the left fielder, Elliot Ramos, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs, hitting .277. Batting second, had 2 doubles yesterday. The shortstop, Willie Adames, 10 home runs, 38 RBIs, hitting .218. Batting third, the designated hitter, great game last night, Rafael Devers, 17 home runs, 67 RBIs, hitting .260. Batting fourth, playing first base is Wilmer Flores, 11 home runs, 55 RBIs for Wilmer. He's hitting .241 on the season. Batting fifth, Jung-Hoo Lee had a great game 2 nights ago. He went 3 for 4 yesterday, 1 for 3 with an RBI. He's hitting in the 5 spot. He's got 6 home runs, 36 RBIs, hitting .247. Hitting 6, Luis Matos. Luis Matos is going to play right field at Sutter Health Park tonight for the Giants. He's got 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, hitting .171. Batting 7th, Tyler Fitzgerald is going to get the start at second base. 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, .225 batting average. Batting 8th behind the plate, Patrick Bailey. He's hitting .195, 1 home run, and 23 RBIs. And batting 9th, Sergio Alcantara, a name that you've probably heard around. He's been in the big leagues for 3 years, played with Detroit, Cubs, D-backs, and Padres. Has 12 home runs, 14 doubles in the 3 years in the big leagues. He's a utility infielder, plays second short. Tonight he's playing third base. And literally, he's been all around. I mean, a very good utility infielder. Not much of a batting average. In 60 games in Sacramento, he had .206 with 14 RBIs and 2 stolen bases. We'll see him at third base at Sutter Health Park for the Giants tonight. The lineup once again, Ramos, Adames, Devers, Flores, Lee, Matos, Fitzgerald, Bailey, Alcantara. Justin Verlander on the hill for the Giants. J.P. Sears on the mound for the Athletics. All right, 415-808, KNBR if you want to get on the phone lines. Let's go to Rudy. Rudy's in Lake Tahoe. Rudy, you got to have a beautiful time up in Lake Tahoe, especially on the 4th of July. How are you doing?
Good, Bill. It's the first time I've had a chance to give you a call this season. Just wanted to say hi and say it's been a nice, promising season so far. I wish they would hit a little better, though. Doggone it.
Well, Rudy, you know me. I back in the day when you came to fantasy camps, that was a big thing you did. So I know you knew how to hit. And the thing about it, yesterday was a big game yesterday. I thought the offense played very well, getting early runs, adding them on. Of course, yesterday, 7 runs on 12 hits. They've had 22 hits in their last 2 games. So let's hope, Rudy, this continues in a very hitter-friendly ballpark at Sutter Health.
That's funny. You just mentioned the starting lineup, and Matos is playing right field. Is that what you had said, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
He's been playing in that field all this season with the River Cats, and now he's playing with the Giants. That's kind of funny in itself.
Well, a couple of the players, when you're thinking of Fitzgerald, just got called up too, and he just was down there for a couple weeks. The hardest part in that ballpark, Rudy, and I know you've been there, is right field, because the wall comes up as soon as the right field line's there. There's no out of bounds in right field. It's wall or right down the line. So it's called a Bermuda Triangle because it really cuts it off right down right field. It's short. That's one thing, and especially in left field, balls are going to fly out of there in an early evening game. It's going to be interesting to see how the pitchers throw. Verlander's never thrown there. Of course, J.P. Sears has. We're going to see how he attacks these hitters today.
Well, I think it's about time Verlander gets his first win. Hopefully tonight they supply some runs for the team, right? They haven't done that for neither him nor Webb for most of the season, but hopes are high that we're going to do okay. I don't know whether we catch the Dodgers now. We lost contact with them, but, still a long season to go, obviously.
It sure is, Rudy, on this road trip, a 10-game road trip. They're 3-4. They won the first game in Chicago. They won the last 2 against Arizona. 3 games here, but where it really turns tough at is when they go home. They play the Phillies for 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They get Thursday off. And then they play the Dodgers. First time the Dodgers are coming to Oracle Park, and it's 3 games before the All-Star break. So a tough 6-game homestand coming up, and that's why I think they got to put the pedal to the metal against the Athletics on this 3-game series.
Well, it's going to be a good test, my friend. But, again, I just wanted to call and say hi since I hadn't called in this season yet. I'm leaving for Mexico tomorrow for 10 days, so I'll listen to the games while I'm down there, and I'll give you a call when I get back from having a wonderful midsummer vacation, I guess.
Well, enjoy your vacation, Rudy. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for the call today. A lot of things going on in this ballpark. Rudy kind of mentioned it. A lot of players from the Giants are going right back to Sutter Health Park. Some of them were playing in AAA earlier this year. Now they're coming in against the Giants. Of course, my guest coming up here in 20 minutes is Johnny Doskow, who 30 years was in the minor leagues. 22 years he called River Cat games as well as for the A's at Sacramento. And now he's doing athletics play-by-play on radio. So it's going to be exciting to talk to Johnny in a few minutes about how he feels walking back in his ballpark with the Giants and the Athletics playing each other. It's just a fun atmosphere. Of course, it's a minor league ballpark. That's the tough part about it. Balls will fly out of there. It's difficult to pitch there. You heard, when you talked to Alcantara just couldn't stand pitching there. He's against this ballpark. Just like when they went to Tampa, I had a chance to talk to Mike Aldretti when they were in Tampa. Nobody really talks about the ballpark in Tampa, and that's a spring training site. So when you're looking at Sacramento, a AAA ballpark, a minor league ballpark, go to Tampa Bay, now you're playing in a spring training ballpark. So a couple ballparks that really are not big league ready or big league possible to play at the big league level. That's what they got to do, and they got to strap it on. They play 3 games there. But if you want to call 415-808-KNBR, if you're driving down Interstate 80 going to Sacramento, or if you're at the ballpark, you want to talk a little baseball before we get to that 7:05 first pitch, come on in, call me, and we'll talk some Giants baseball. One player I do want to talk about is Jacob Wilson, of course, the 23-year-old who was voted in over Bobby Witt as the starting shortstop. Just having a great year when you look at what he's done. 23 years old, most likely the rookie of the year. One of the biggest things that I look at with him, he makes great contact in 345 plate appearances. He's only struck out 26 times. 26 times. A contact hitter that goes all fields. He's got 25 extra base hits this year, 34 multi-hits. He scored 40 runs, hitting .339, 108 hits already for the young man. It's interesting because when you look at Jeremy Pena from Houston and Bobby Witt from Kansas City, and then you look at this young man, Jacob Wilson, of course, his dad also played in the big leagues, who's shortstop with the Pittsburgh Pirates, all glove, not much hitter. But when you also look at Jacob Wilson as a defender, he's only got 7 errors on the season, 255 chances at shortstop. And these are things that you look at a young player, and they have a lot of them. There's no question here that the Athletics have a lot of athleticism in this lineup. On the opposite side, you look at what Willie Adames has been doing, and everybody's been pretty much down on Willie. Willie's defense has gotten a lot better in here in the last couple weeks. Yesterday with Robbie Ray, he had five appearances, or trying to think of what I'm trying to say here. 5 ground balls at him, and he made all 5. He made really good plays on the defensive side, but I'm looking at his numbers as a hitter, and I lost my train of thought here. Since June 10th, he's hitting .299. That's right, folks, .299 in 92 plate appearances, 5 home runs and 18 runs. And, this is what we're talking about in trying to change this offense and defense going the right way. The offensive numbers just have not been consistent enough here. And I think that's what Giant fans are looking for. And we saw it yesterday, the really good offensive numbers, getting 12 hits and scoring 7 runs. All right, let's go back out to Sacramento. Got a call in from Big Al. Big Al, you're on a KNBR warm-up show. How are you doing? Is the ball going to be flying out of the stadium tonight?
Flying. That's what I told your screener. Flying. I've been very negative. I haven't wanted to call you. You cheese that you're not. I can put one over on the Giants. You're not that kind of guy. Yeah, that's very the offense.
Well, Big Al, are you going to the game tonight? Is that what you're doing? Are you going to Sutter Health to watch this game tonight?
I don't want to. I'm a follow block.
I can hardly hear you, Al. You're on a cell phone and it's cracking up. Maybe call me right back because it's not good condition here. I can barely hear you. Hang up and call right back. But Al goes to a lot of Rivercat games. He follows the Rivercats. I love to hear what he's saying. But if you're looking in Northern California, pretty windy here most of the day today, and Sacramento will be the same. We're going to find out how this is all going to come about. The Giants have not played at Sutter Health Park this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team maneuvers, how well they hit, how well they score. And might be a high-scoring 3-game series, but we're going to find out if Justin Verlander can do what he did with the White Sox. And the main thing was he got the ball down, and he mixed a lot of good pitches in that game. When you start looking at what he did in that game against the White Sox, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts in that game. He threw 88 pitches, 55 for strikes, 14 first pitch strikes out of 26 pitches, 26 hitters. So a lot of good things that happened in that game. He kept them only to 1 run, and he only gave up that run in the 5th inning it was. So a good outing for him. He left the game after 6 with the lead, and Eric Miller, of course, and Ryan Walker gave up 4 runs after that, and they lost that game. So we'll find out what Justin Verlander does today, and we'll do that and talk more about this game and talk more about what we can see with the Athletics and their record of being 36-53. Not too good. They have lost 20 and 21 games at one time, and the Giants have just won 2 in a row in Arizona. They're 47-41. All right, we'll be right back with more right here on the Giants warm-up show with Bill Laskey on KNBR, the sports leader.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
It's at 7:05, and it's at Sutter Health Park. Giants are on a 10-game road trip. They're 3-4. They won the first one in Chicago, and they won the last two in Arizona, scoring 13 runs in both those games for those victories. So we'll find out what the Giants do tonight. 47-41, going against the Athletics, 36-53. I said earlier, when the Athletics came to Oracle Park, the Giants won all three games, 9-1, 1-0 in a 10th inning thriller, and 3-2. So we'll find out if we can get a win for Justin Verlander, as he's 0-5 this year. Let's go on phone lines. Let's go to Joe. He's in Stockton. Joe, you're on the Giants warm-up show with Bill Laskey. How are you doing on the 4th of July?
Good, Bill. How are you?
Well, it's been a fun day. Sunny out, windy out. I'm sure it is the same way in Stockton, but I think all these three games are all 7:05 games. A little strange, but at least they're not playing them in hot weather up in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's good weather. The Valley has good weather to play at night, so that's nice. Hey, I'm just going to say, I hope our fans are starting to remind me of Yankees and Boston fans. And when I listen to Kerry, Crowley, I mean, you played the game. All these other guys, even Dave, when I listen to Dave and John, they're a little too critical at times. You know what? And I think I don't know if you saw the thing about Trey Turner in Philly, where this fan convinced all the fans to give him a standing ovation when he was going bad, and it made a difference, man. We just got to stay positive. These guys, it's a long season. We got great pitching, and we won 3 titles because we had great pitching, and I think we'll score the runs when we need them. Devers is going to get comfortable, and we don't play an easy park to hit at either. It's not friendly.
You're absolutely right, Joe. When you're only talking about 88 games, the batting average is only 235. That's a team batting average. Your pitching is doing the best. They have under a 3-point earned run average out of the bullpen, the best bullpen in Major League Baseball, and the starting staff is number 2. So when you put it all together, it's about a 3.2 earned run average. The pitching has definitely shined. You got to look at Hayden Birdsong and Landon Roop to clean it up a little bit. Logan Webb and Robbie Ray will most likely be National League All-Stars. But you have a good positive mojo today, and I think you're right. I think the hitting is starting to wake up a little bit. Matt Chapman is playing for the River Cats in Reno tonight. He's batting second, playing third base. You might see him back in this lineup tomorrow if his hand's fine. And I think that's going to be a big plus. That's going to boost this lineup, get it a little deeper. And I think that's where we're going to see more runs and more hits from.
I'm going to say, too, I think Duvall woke up that when he pitched the 10th inning. I think he finally looked like look, man, just go out there and throw the ball. Because the guy's got great stuff, man. I think sometimes he just gets in his head like a lot of relievers. That's the tough stuff.
Yes, it is. It's a whole different animal finishing those games, Joe, and you're absolutely right. But thanks for the call, Joe. I appreciate your call on a Friday evening. Let's go to Emily. She's in Sacramento. She's ready to watch the game. Emily, how are you doing tonight up at Sutter Health Park?
We're doing great. We're on our way. I was saying that we've had about 1 million days of baseball in a row. My son, my 10-year-old just finished his all-star season, but we're so excited to come down there and see the matchup.
Beautiful. It's going to be a nice night. Fireworks after. It's a fun family atmosphere. Have you ever been to Sutter Health Park before, Emily?
Yes, we actually sit in the lawn. My boys probably have about 50 balls from the lawn area, from the River Cat Stadium.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. It really is.
Love being down there.
Put your blanket out there and exciting baseball, and it'll be fun tonight. You got to be excited to watch the Giants come into Sutter Health as their AAA ballpark, and they're playing the Athletics. Something different, something strange, but, it's Major League Baseball.
That's what it is. I'm a diehard Braves fan, in honest opinion, but I married a diehard Giants fan. So
that's okay. 50-50 in the house, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've loved following Wilson as the shortstop at the A's, too. So my boys are super excited to see him as the first All-Star in 60 years. For the A's, I think.
That's great. Yeah, Jacob Wilson got voted in as the starting shortstop. What a great player, 23 years old, and his numbers just shine. He's one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball, chasing Aaron Judge for the batting crown. Just a delight when you get young players like that, and very humble player, and those are the kind of kids that need to gravitate to, because that's your superstar in the making.
And I'm a mom of 5 boys, so I appreciate those role models so much.
Beautiful, Emily. Well, enjoy the game. I know you might not be cheering for the Giants, but I know your husband is, so maybe you can give him a little kick today and cheer for the Giants.
I'm wearing a 916 area code hat, so I was like, I'm staying neutral.
Well, thanks for calling in, Emily. Enjoy the game with your sons and your husband, and we'll find out with a good Major League game tonight. Appreciate your call. Let's go back to Big Al. Big Al, you're back on. Hopefully the connection's a little better.
Yeah, tell me if it's not. I got 4 bars.
You're good, Al. I can hear you now, buddy. I got you now, Big Al. So are you going to the game, Big Al, or you're not going to the game? You're going to watch it? What's going on?
Yeah, not tonight. Not going to the game tonight. No, we're gonna keep an eye on my house to make sure there's no. I mean, it's not a bad area, but boy, I'm telling you, I don't know what it's like wherever you live, but man, the bottle rockets fly through there, and then of course we now have new regulations in the city. They're going to be pretty rough.
It's windy out today too, Big Al. Is it windy up in Sacramento?
Yes, I'd say 15 to 20.
Yeah, that's tough. So you got to be careful with that. But you'll be able to watch the game or listen to the game. And what did you like about the Giants on this road trip, Al? Have you been watching this 7 games they played?
Not every single one. I'll watch the highlight packages, sure, but that doesn't give you the full flavor, of course. No, I listen to you all the time, of course, and I'm just, I have hope. Want to be patient, like in my golf. That's my game now as an old man. You must have patience in golf, and same in baseball. Have patience for Posey. That's my new mantra: patience for Posey. I gotta trust that he's gonna build.
Might have to get a shirt made, Big Al. Put that on a shirt. Start selling those shirts.
Yeah.
Well, tonight should be a good game. We should be able to, Al, we should see what Justin Verlander can do here at Sutter Health. He's going to have to keep the ball down off speed, this Rabbit team, because the Athletics can steal some bases. Butler's got 14. Soderstrom's got 5. Wilson's got 5. But they've been hitting the ball a little better lately. They won 2 out of 3 in Tampa. Of course, the Giants split with the Diamondbacks, hit the ball real well the last 2 games. It's just going to be exciting to watch this at Sutter Health Park with both teams, the A's and the Giants, and they used to play there in their AAA days.
Absolutely, because this was the A's AAA farm system before we got our River Cats associated with the Giants. So, been many years, 40 years, I think, almost 30-something years for sure.
Sure was.
Between the two. Yeah. Anyway,
Al, be careful tonight. Yep. Be careful tonight, Al, and stay safe. And once again, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Yep, I'll be
back. All right, coming
up
next, I'm going to give Johnny Doskow a call. We're going to talk to him before he gets ready for the 7:05 pitch. Of course, he's the play-by-play radio voice with Ken Korak, and I had a good chance to get a hold of him earlier tonight, so we're going to talk in about 2 minutes with Johnny Doskow, of course, a good friend of mine. I did some Sacramento River Cat TV games with him when he was up there for 22 years. He did River Cat and A's games. So Johnny Doskow coming up next right here on the Sports Leader. 4th of July, a great day for all of us to enjoy our family and friends and great barbecue. And boy, I'm delighted to bring my friend on. 30 years he was in minor league baseball, 22 years at Sacramento. This is his second year now doing play-by-play, along with Ken Korak, doing the athletic baseball on radio. Let's bring in Johnny Doskow. How are you today, Johnny?
Tree, great to be with you. Happy 4th of July, buddy.
Boy, today you got to have a lot of memories going through your head going into Sutter Health Field. Of course, all the years you worked with the Oakland Athletics and then the San Francisco Giants. Now you're going in there to cover the Athletics, playing the Giants at the big league level.
I know, man. Talk about a full circle moment, Tree, right? I mean, I broadcast this ballpark for 22 years, and when I got the big league job with the A's going into the 23 season, I was like, I never thought I would call a game in this ballpark again. Little did I know, in 2025, I'll be doing big league games at this ballpark. And then you talk about the Giant affiliate, the Giants affiliate in Sacramento since 2015. Being with the A's 2001 to 2014, it's just a complete full circle moment, and it's not lost on me how special it is just getting the opportunity to call big league baseball in a place I called home for so long.
Well, in May, of course, you came to Oracle Park when the Athletics played the Giants, and who did I run into after that? Tyler Rogers, and we talked about you forever, and we talked about the conversations you and I had with him when he was struggling in AAA. He remembered it by the word, and he just loved seeing you at the big league level as well as I did.
That's so nice. I mean, look, I was there when Raj, just a few minutes after Raj got the word that he was going to the major leagues, and you and I both know he deserved it to get up there. Even a couple of years before that, he paid his dues in the minor leagues. Now he's one of the best right-handed relievers in the game, and so it's amazing how, and I'm sure it's gonna be a full circle moment for him too, coming back to this ballpark, because he pitched so many games here. I think Steven Okert and Ron Flores maybe have more, but that's about it. He's right up there with appearances. So he's a guy that he paid his dues, and he's coming back to this ballpark, and it's going to be great to see him out here. And a lot. It's reunion time, Tree. I'm going to see a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be pretty special.
That voice you hear on the KNBR warm-up show, my good friend Johnny Doskow. Let's get into the starting pitchers tonight. J.P. Sears, the left-hander, threw against the Giants in May. Didn't really have a great outing. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. But his last outing against the New York Yankees, boy, he really pitched well. 5 2/3 innings, only giving up 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs. What has he been featuring lately, Johnny, that he did so well?
Well, one thing he's been throwing his sinker a little bit more this year, and it's been a good pitch for him. He's got that good changeup, and for him, it's look, he has good stuff, and for him, it's keeping the ball in the ballpark, and look, it's this is a tough place to pitch. You talk about this ballpark at Sutter Health Park, and these are big league hitters. They can make this ballpark look awfully small, and I think he's done better on the road than he has at home, like Severino and some of the other pitchers. But for JP, he gets on that roll and look out. He'll have 4, 5, 6 straight good starts, and I don't know. He hasn't missed a start. He's so durable. He hasn't missed a start since 2022. You just look, if he's going strong, if he hits through the first 3 innings and he hasn't allowed anything, look out, because he's going to throw 6 or 7 innings and allow just a few hits. But he's got good stuff, and he features that changeup. He's got the 4-seam fastball and to throw that sinker, and and the slider. He's got that little sweeper. But yeah, he's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do against the Giants, because he's such a bulldog out there. He's got that bulldog mentality, so competitive, and he never wants to be taken out of a game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do against the Giants tonight.
Well, Johnny, I'd like to hear your opinion on Justin Verlander, the 42-year-old right-hander. Still hasn't got a win with the Giants. He's been pitching deep in the game. What do you think he's going to feature out there tonight?
Well, look, he's got 5 games where they've blown the lead for him. 5 blown saves in starts he's had. He's still stuck at 262 wins. I think when he signed with the Giants, he was thinking, man, I can get 10, 12, 14 wins and get a chance a couple of years later to get a chance at 300 wins. But it's just going to be tough now, So I don't know. Obviously, he says from what I read, he's feeling like he fixed something mechanically. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Verlander can do. This is one of the best right-handers of our generation, if not the best. So I'm excited to see what this guy can do. He's got great stuff, and his stuff has diminished a little bit, obviously, as he's now 42 years old. But Look, anytime it's Justin Verlander, you pay attention, right? All those great years. This guy's a 9-time All-Star, former MVP, 2-time world champion. He 3 no-hitters, right? So one of the best to ever do it. So anytime you get to see Justin Verlander, it's going to be a treat.
Well, Johnny, you've had a delight of watching Jacob Wilson. Of course, he's the starting shortstop in the American League for the All-Star game. 23-year-old, just having a sensational year. One of the numbers I was reading this morning, 345 plate appearances, was only 26 strikeouts. That to me is amazing. I've been watching him here and there, but you've been watching him daily. What does he bring to this team at shortstop being one? And as a rookie, boy, he's been so consistent.
Oh, he has. I mean, that bat to ball tree, it's unbelievable. You think about Luis Ariz and what he does, kind of surveying the field, right? He can just, if he see, I remember the other day just watching him, there was a, playing him to pull, and there was a big hole in the right side, and he just waited and waited, just punched it to right. And he's done that so many times. I think he has a chance to win the batting title. I think he has a chance to overtake Judge, have the best batting average in the league by the time it's all said and done. Because he went on a little bit of a skid for him over the last few weeks, but he's starting to come out of it now, and he's just such a pure hitter. And he gained some strength in the offseason. Josh Cuppy and the strength team did a great job of getting him stronger and bigger this last offseason. He's got a little pop too. So it's funny. You don't pitchers don't know where to pitch him, right? He uses the entire field. His hands are so quick. He's just the way he maneuvers the bat and his setup. You may look at it and say, "Gosh, how can he do it with that setup?" But they don't mess with him, man. It's working. I mean, this guy he's a hit machine, man. Nicknamed Top 40. I mean, he hit after hit after hit and just keeps doing it. A lot of fun to watch.
Well, Johnny, on the defensive side, he's pretty damn good too. His dad was really a good glove guy. Jacobs only got 7 errors this year, over 250 chances. He plays up the middle a lot. The backhand is there, but his arm is accurate. I love watching this kid play defense.
Yeah, it does. And they worked on that first. The one thing they said he needed to work on was that first step, and he's worked his tail off. Erica Martins has done a great job working with him on that first step to his right and to his left. And you've seen some highlight type plays for him. He's just going to keep getting better at shortstop, right? He's not going to ever going to be the defender his dad was. But Jack Wilson will never be the hitter. He was never the hitter that Jacob will be, right? So, but he's a good defensive player, and I think he's just going to keep getting better and better. But he's already made some highlight reel type plays. But yeah, I mean, offense really is his game. But he can hold his own at short for sure.
Johnny, the American League Rookie of the Month of June was Nick Kurtz. Big first baseman. He can hit the ball. 264, 7 home runs, 2 walk-off home runs against the Astros. Had a clutch home run against the Kansas City Royals. He is just coming to his own, and he just got pulled up June 9th. Tell me a little bit how hot he's been.
Tree, he is just getting going. It was so good to see that award that he got because he just to get to watch him on a daily basis. He's still learning the system. When we first got up here, he was getting 1 hit a game, and he didn't have any homers through the first, I think, 14, maybe 13, 14 games, and he was just taking base hits to left field. He's got a great approach. He's one of those guys that will be a great hitter with power, not just a power guy, right? He's the guy that has incredible pop to all fields. And one underrated part of his game, I think, that people start to familiarize themselves with him is his defense. His defense is solid. I think he's a future Gold Glove Award winner. I really do. He scoops up everything over there. He's got good range. For a big guy, he's 6'5", 240, 6'5", 245. He is quick. So I think, I know the Giant fans are excited about Bryce Eldridge, but Nick Kurtz, I think he is, I think down the road, he'll be a 35, 40 homer guy with Gold Glove skills at first base. I mean, the future is very bright for this guy, and he's fun to watch on a daily basis. He went through a stretch where 3 out of 4 he had that go-ahead homer against Kansas City and then 2 walk-offs. So he's tremendous, and it's one of those guys that when he's at the plate, you just always have a feeling he's going to find a way to go deep, right? He's just got that big body. He's country strong, right? And just power to all fields. So I just every day you get a chance to watch him play, it's a treat. I'm looking forward to it.
Johnny Doskow joining me for a few more minutes on the KNBR warm-up show. We got to talk about the athletes that play in outfield. Of course, Denzel Clark and Lawrence Butler, 2 fantastic athletes that are going over fences, leaping, making diving catches. Let's talk about Clark, the center fielder, 25-year-old, grew up in Toronto, Canada. The batting average is down, but boy, his defense is golden.
You know what? I don't. Even if he hits, and I argue with people about this. I think if he hits 225, with the defense he plays, with the runs he saves, it's not just the acrobatic catches. It's not just 4 times in a row, 4 weeks in a row he won electric play of the week. It's not just those plays, Tree. It's getting to the balls he gets to. The sprinting to the spot and finding a way, banging into walls, playing the game with reckless abandon where he's running into walls, not thinking about his body, he's unbelievable. There is not a comp in baseball right now, and this is not hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch him on a daily basis, there is not a comp in baseball right now. I believe in my heart he's going to win a Gold Glove this year. I know he got up here a little later. His bat is going to come. Hopefully they'll play him every day. I think he's going to play every day, so he'll get the opportunity to try to get that bat together. But I don't really care really much about his. I mean, you want him to hit, but what he does defensively is so elite. And if you see him on a daily basis, the stuff he does, even that same game he made that beautiful catch in Anaheim, that acrobatic catch over the wall, which some say was the greatest play they've ever seen. He made another play in that game where he made a diving catch in left center and no one's even talking about, right? So he saved so many runs. And beyond the metrics, he's made Lawrence Butler better. He's made Lawrence Butler a better outfielder. Butler covers a lot of ground, but Butler's learning a lot from Clark. And look, Clark, his mom was a heptathlon participant in the Olympics in 1984. He said she's the best athlete of the family. But Denzel is very unique. He's a unicorn. No one like him. And Giant fans that make the trip over, they're going to enjoy watching this guy play center field.
Johnny, when you're watching him in center field, he usually plays shallow. He plays normal depth. Is it his first jump that makes it so elite for him? Is it his speed, like a roadrunner speed? Because he catches the ball deep in the zone in right center field and left center field, and he's right on it. I mean, he's on the warning track waiting for it. And I think it's his elite speed that really catches up with everything.
Well, it's not just the elite speed, Tree. It's his reads. I mean, he's so smart. He knows where he has such a feel for the warning track. Has such a feel. What he does before every game is he checks out the outfield. He sprints toward the center field fence. He sprints from right center to left center. He gets a feel for every ballpark we go into, and that's exactly what Mark Kotze did. Kotze was a great center fielder. The manager of the A's, and he would do the same thing every time. He'd sprint in the outfield and get a feel for the fence, feel for the ballpark and the dimensions, kind of the angles he needs to take. And Denzel Clark does that same thing. So yes, the athleticism, yes, the quickness, the agility, but it's also the intelligence of being able to understand where he is at a particular time. He's very unique, and I'm just you got to see this guy because over the course of a long big league season. He's worth the price of admission alone just to watch him go out there in center field.
The other outfielder I want to talk about a little bit is Lawrence Butler. He's only made one error in right field, but his hitting has gotten a lot better. 252, 11 home runs, 34 RBIs. Of course, speed with Lawrence Butler with 14 stolen bases. Playing a corner outfield. And a lot of things happen at Sutter Health Field. You and I both watched it for many years. It's a tough outfield, especially with that wall down the right field line. How has he been doing with the corner?
That's a great point, Tree. You and I talked about like that. We call it Bermuda's Triangle out there, right? Remember those? There are fly balls that go down the right field line and pop-ups that go down the first base line where Bryce Harper missed 2 of them. I've seen so many first basemen give up on balls that they think are in the stands and they end up coming back into the field to play. Same is true in right field. And he plays that right field, Butler does, as well as anybody. He's learning the system. There's very little room between the foul line and that walled out there, so you got to be very careful. But he plays a good right field out there. It's not an easy right field to play. You have the small fence down there and the bullpens. And but I do think, as I said earlier, that Denzel Clark has helped his game in the outfield. And look, it's hard to navigate out there. And you see, with Matos, take a look at Matos tonight because Matos actually played out there though, so he's played out there at Sutter Health Park. So some of these Giants guys have played out there, so that'll help. But it's not. You're right. It's not an easy right field to navigate. And you can't give up on balls that you think are slicing out and playing onto the berms. They'll come back into the field to play and bite you.
Johnny, as we finish up here, the earned run average is kind of high with the pitching staff, a 5.33 overall. They've been pitching a lot better, taking 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay. But on the opposite side, on the offensive side, almost 250 as a team batting average. But what gets me is 110 home runs and over 350 RBIs. How do you equal that out to make the Athletics a better team?
Well, I think it's it comes down to the bullpen. The bullpen went through a rough stretch. You got to remember this team lost 20 of 21. Tree.
Oof.
20 of 21. You take away that, and it's a team that's over 500. I know you can't do that, and I understand it was a rough stretch, and it started with that Seattle series and the Giants. We had 2 heartbreaking losses against the Giants. The A's did. So it was really, really difficult. So look, you take away that 21 game debacle, and it's you got yourself a good ball club. The thing is just the bullpen has struggled at times. They've struggled to pitch at this ballpark, and we've blown some leads. I mean, look, there's nobody that's given up more 10-run games than the A's have this year, but we've also had some heart-wrenching losses as well. Games that we should have won that we didn't win. I can think of 2 games in Seattle and 2 games against the Giants, and there are many other games that I think the A's should have won that they did not. So. Look, it comes down to I think the bullpen is getting shored up a little bit. We got Jack Perkins up here, and he's doing a nice job. Justin Sterner's back. Michael Kelly's done a fantastic job in setting up, and you got the big man, number 19, Mason Miller, at the end. So there's a lot of potential for this bullpen, and there's some guys coming in AAA or AA and AAA that can help out the ball club as well. So I do think the bullpen will improve as we get to the last, 73 games left of the season. There's a lot of baseball to be played, but you got to make a run now if you're going to chance at a wild card because we're kind of 73 games is not, there's time, but you got to make your run now for sure.
Johnny, it's a pleasure always catching up with you. Enjoy the 3-game series. A lot of memories are going to be going through you calling these games for the Athletics.
Absolutely. Some of those memories were with you, Lask. We had a great time calling games together here at this ballpark. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, always great to catch up with you, Tree. Thanks so much.
That was Johnny Doskow on the KNBR warm-up show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader. Look at the lineups today pretty quick. Bob Melvin's the visiting team tonight. Batting first, the left fielder, Elliot Ramos, hitting .277 on the season. Batting second, Willie Adames. He's playing shortstop, had 2 doubles yesterday. He's hitting .218. Batting third, Rafael Devers is going to DH once again. Had a couple nice RBIs, 3 RBIs yesterday. Hitting .260. Batting fourth, Wilmer Flores playing first base. He's hitting .241. Batting fifth, Jung Hoo Lee. 4 for 8 in his last 2 games. He's playing center field, hitting .247. Hitting sixth, Luis Matos is going to play right field. He's hitting .171, but he's in there hitting the ball pretty solid lately. Tyler Fitzgerald hitting seventh. He's playing second base, hitting .225. Patrick Bailey catching, hitting eighth, .195. Sergio Alcantara is going to get his first start in a Giants uniform, playing third base. Ramos, Adames, Devers, Flores, Lee, Matos, Fitzgerald, Bailey, Alcantara. That's the Bob Melvin lineup for the visiting team. The home team, Mark Kotze throws out Lawrence Butler batting first. He's playing right field, hitting .252. Jacob Wilson, the American League shortstop, starting shortstop, playing shortstop, having a great year. The 23-year-old's hitting .339. Batting third, the designated hitter, Brent Rooker. He's hitting .270 on the year. Nick Kurtz, the American League Rookie Player of the Month of June, playing first base, hitting .241. He's got 12 home runs. Batting fifth, Shea Langolier. He's going to be catching. He's hitting .242. Playing left field, Tyler Soderstrom. He's hitting .252. Batting seventh, playing third base, Max Muncy. He's hitting .213 on the year. Batting eighth, he just got called up from Las Vegas, Zach Geloff. He's hitting second. He hasn't got a hit yet. This is his first game in the 2025 big league season. He's playing second base. And then the talented center fielder, Denzel Clark, is rounding out, batting ninth, playing center field, hitting a 189. So it's Butler, Wilson, Rooker, Kurtz, Langolier, Soderstrom, Muncy, Geloff, and Clark. That's the lineup Mark Kotze is throwing out there. And, of course, J.P. Sears is on the mound for the Athletics. He's a left-hander, 29-year-old, going against the veteran, the right-hander, 42-year-old Justin Verlander. Coming up next is the Giants pregame show, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you, and we're back. You know, when it comes to fighting crime, he's never going to roll over. He's McGruff the crime dog.
Roll over. You're okay, Joy.
Thanks.
And I got 2 words to make your neighborhood safer.
Uh-huh.
Coffee cake.
Ah, the old poison coffee cake trick. The crook takes a bite, falls down to the ground.
No, it's for your neighbors.
You want to poison your neighbors?
No, never.
Oh, thank goodness.
No, for 25 years, I've been giving tips about preventing crime. One of them is to invite people over for a cup of coffee and share the problems you see on